Hi guys, the summer is already here before we know it. And is it wearing you down? But summers also brings with it the king of fruits, mangoes. Now when you peel a mango and it's perfectly ripe and sweet, the world is at your feet. But what do you do when it doesn't meet your expectations and turns out to be sour? I'm sharing a quick recipe of mine with you, which is not just a side salad or a dip, but can be a complete meal by itself. This can be a completely vegan, vegetarian meal. I'm going to be adding one condiment only, which will not make it so you can totally skip that if you want. So what I'm making is a raw papaya mango salad. I have a small medium raw papaya, peeled and grated. I have a mango that unintentionally turned out sour. I did not buy it just to make this recipe. And the other things I will be adding to make this is grated carrot and some chopped tomatoes. So the preparation is mainly in grating and chopping these things. The papaya definitely needs to be grated finely. The other ingredients you can chop it as roughly as you want. So this is a completely no cook meal, and I just need to make the dressing now for the salad. So for that I've measured out peanut butter. Now instead of peanut butter you can absolutely use crushed whole peanuts. Since I'm not adding any sweetener in my dressing, I'm going to go with double the amount of peanut butter. So I'm taking 30 grams peanut butter per person. And what I need to add to this is some soy sauce, and that one ingredient that makes this non-vegan is fish sauce. Whenever I make something East Asian, the one thing that I can't do without is fish sauce, but you can skip that. And I'm going to add some coriander finally in my salad, but because I'm out of fresh coriander and I'm loaded up with dry coriander powder, this is what I'm going to be using. So while making the dressing, I always use a small teaspoon so I don't go overboard with my ingredients, and I can add more if required. Fish sauce always add in very less quantity as it's very strong and concentrated. Followed by soy sauce, and mix that in. I would recommend you to add some honey or maple syrup in this because the peanut butter is very thick, and adding these sweeteners will also make this dressing easier to handle. So first I'm going to mix the dressing in the raw papaya. Because I'm not adding any sweetener, it's going to be a little tough for me to incorporate it if I do this after adding all the veggies. So I'm going to mix it first in the raw papaya only. I'm going to go in with my hands for mixing this because the peanut butter is so thick. And since this dressing actually calls for some honey or some sweetener, you can make this peanut butter at home if you have whole peanuts and a small blender. Because at home we typically add some honey while making peanut butter, some honey, some salt. Whereas pure peanut butter is supposed to be without any of these. Alright, so this has incorporated, and now I'm going to add in all the other veggies and fruits, carrots, tomatoes, and my sour mangoes. So like I said, you can use chopped peanuts instead, or apart from adding peanut butter, you can also add a little bit of crushed peanuts from the top for that extra crunch and to make it look nice. But again, be mindful of the amount of peanuts that you use. They're very high in fat, and normally more than a handful is not recommended. I've tasted it. I think I'm going to add a little more soy sauce. And soy sauce also is salty by itself, so that itself will add any extra salt that is required. And finally the dried coriander powder or your fresh coriander. So this is done. Also, when I get plastic containers like this, I normally just take out my meal in these plastic containers so that I'm using it a little more before discarding it. This is how it looks. So stay cool during the summer, guys. Don't let it get to you. Bon appetit. Ciao.